They're live.
We have 5:30, I'll call the meeting to order with meeting properly announced.
Yes, it was.
Okay, clerk will take roll.
17 members present.
Okay. And tonight we have Congressman Derrick Orden coming in, right? Correct?
Yes, he is, sends his apologies. He's running 5-6 minutes late. He got tied up someplace down south on the way up here, so.
So we'll let you, and you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah,
then? Okay.
if you guys are ready, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please. Everybody hear me?
Yeah, no.
All right, I'm Scott Soy.
You gotta turn the mic on, button below.
On the bottom. Oh,
You got lights on the handle somewhere?
I got lights on the handle. Hello? Green? Better? All right, hey, thanks, guys. I'm Scott Soy, I'm from Portage County. I started with Congressman Van Orden's team January 3rd. Excited to be part of the team. I don't know a lot about Adams County, but I do know in Portage County, we have never had somebody in the county on a full-time basis. We had Congressman Obi, we never seen him. In 2008, we elected Congressman Sean Duffy, and 2 years later, we were redistricted out into the 3rd district where we are now. And we had, what's his name? That just quit. Ron Connie. So, and we never seen him. Right? We never had anybody take interest in Portage County. I think it's the same for Wood County. And I don't know for sure, but I would think it's the same down here as well. So I'm super excited. I'm hoping to get an office set up someplace down here for 1 day a week, where I'm here 9 to 5, interacting with everybody in the community and finding out what it is that we can run up the chain of command to Congressman Van Orden for what we need. I've been involved in my local township for the last 20 years, town supervisor, plan commission, chaired the plan commission for a while. I sit on the Portage County Board of Supervisors right now. So I've been doing things like this for a long time, and I am excited to take it to the next level. I'm excited to be working with you guys, working with Derrick Van Orden, his team. Like I said, he's running 5 to 6 minutes late, but I believe he's bringing the district director for all the District 3 with him, and his chief of staff, Brett, out of Washington, I believe will be walking in with him. So, are there any questions for me before he gets here and dives into everything that's great about Washington, DC?
I wasn't gonna ask. District office wise where Derrick's gonna set up shop and is it kind of one here, one more cross or where?
I'm gonna let him give you the full details on that, but I believe La Crosse and Eau Claire is where he'll have permanent offices set up. And like I said, for us field representatives, he wants us to reach out, set up mobile offices in our county buildings that we represent. So for me, it would look like 1 day a week down here, 1 day a week in Wood County, and being that I live in Portage County, probably 2-3 days a week. But the part of my job is to travel, to be available. So if there's something that comes up, if I'm scheduled to be down here on a Wednesday, if something comes up on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is, give me a call. And like I said, my job is to travel down here and meet with anybody in the county, because Congressman Van Orden wants everyone to know that he is representing everyone in the county. And Oh, and here he is now. So with that, I'll introduce Congressman Van Orden.
It's like we are doing 40 meetings in 4 days. So we only have so much time in DC, and I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but things they're working out. Just a lot of stuff going on, but
Can you use
I wanted
microphone?
you to recognize Scott by face. What? Do I need a microphone? Oh, sorry. I'm in the Navy. I can yell really loud. I was. I wanted you to really get to know Scott. And I want you to have his personal number and his email. So I have 2 goals as a congressman. The first one is to be the most accessible congressman in Congress at all. And the second one is to make sure that we provide the best constituent services of any member of Congress. So that's why we're here. I wanted to introduce you or myself to you. Hey, what are you doing back there, Scott?
Double duty, man.
Wow, the guy gets around. Yeah, and introduce you to Scott Soy to make sure that you know who we are. I would love to hear some issues that you have or answer any questions about what's going on in DC and our footprint here in the district. I just got our final committee assignments today. I'm on the agriculture committee, which is awesome. First one from the state of Wisconsin in 10 years. First one from the 3rd district in 26 years. We're on the transportation and infrastructure committee, which are roads, bridges, the drainage, all that stuff from the Army Corps of Engineers. All the locks and dams on the Mississippi River, all fall underneath that purview. The PFAS issues, because the EPA comes under that purview. And then I just found out today that I'll be in the Veterans Administration Committee, which is awesome, because all that stuff with the problems started at Toma, which is in our district. And I don't know if you know or not, but I'm 100% service connected disabled vet. I was in for 26 years. And we have to make sure we take care of our veterans. So those are my committees. Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing? What's going on in DC? I know that was television where the C-SPAN was the most watched cable television station in the country because of all that stuff going on. And I can answer any questions, inside baseball things or our plans. Does anybody have any? Seriously, did anybody watch that stuff going on in DC? It's amazing. No?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you're on the infrastructure committee. Well, hopefully some of that money will actually go to infrastructure, because when they push that baby through, it looks like it went for everything, but how do we, is it too late to do anything about that? You know, I mean,
You guys don't know me, but
earmarks.
you're gonna find out that I don't answer a question unless I know what I'm talking about. And so that infrastructure bill that they passed really did not have anything to do with infrastructure. So I can't answer that question. The problem is they allocated all this stuff, this COVID money, and a lot of those monies are not being used for anything that's related to COVID at all. So
I
that,
know that.
right, so that's not good. And then they passed this infrastructure bill. And a lot of it's not allocated for infrastructure, so I can't answer that question yet. I just got assigned that committee yesterday at like 8:30 at night.
Oh,
And so we'll get into it and really parse out that legislation. It just takes a long time to read. I mean, those bills are just, they're hundreds and hundreds and sometimes thousands of pages. But I'll find out. I know what we need. I mean, we spent, Kobe, how many? We did 180,000 miles.
Yeah, got around there.
So we put like 180,000 miles on our vehicles during the campaign. So we've been just about everywhere talking to everybody. Because I don't know, intuitively what to do without asking everybody. So we'll figure it out. But I know we have drainage issues, we have PFAS issues, we have issues with our roads. We've got issues with the locks and dams in Mississippi. That's how we move all our grain up and down the river, is through those locks and dams. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. I'll get to the bottom of it. I have a pretty good work ethic.
I think you will too.
I will try my best. You're in the Navy?
6 years, not 20.
Okay, what's up, man?
Private gunner.
I see this here, a submariner. One of our son-in-laws is a submariner. He's as tall as you, but he was on a submarine, so he hit his head a lot. Does anybody else have anything for me?
All right.
Okay,
So, A committee, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Farm bill renewal coming up
That's right.
in 23.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Any early inklings from leadership on how a farm bill is gonna be negotiated between the House and the Senate, or if we can expect a farm bill this year to actually get through, or?
I would be less concerned about it getting through the Senate than would getting through the House in a meaningful way. So you guys know that the Farm Bill is coupled with the SNAP stuff, so the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And the stuff that actually helps the farmers, they're coupled together for the reason that if it's not, people in Brooklyn aren't gonna vote to help our farmers. That's why they keep them attached. They want to vote for that SNAP part, so. Getting into that, I was just with GT Thompson, he is the chairman of the committee. We went to Pennsylvania, the farm show. Okay, check this out. They take blocks of mozzarella cheese and cut it into these big cubes, and then they bread it so thick, it's like eating like a chunk, like a loaf of bread with some mozzarella in the middle of it. So there's like 300 people. I know, it's like 300 people there. I go, hey, look, you guys are not doing cheese curds properly. That's not even a cheese curd. So I had to slip out the back. But yeah, so GT, we're gonna start, I wanna come back to Wisconsin with the agriculture committee. Because we're flying around the country doing these listening sessions to figure out what the most important things for our farmers are. So more to follow on that, Scott. Again, that was 8:30 tonight. I went, hey, welcome to the meeting. You're good. Anything else? So again, we're farm, yeah, you got some?
Just curious, your office, you got it all set up now, you got all the people you need,
We're opening 2 offices.
I'm talking about in DC.
We're hiring, I'm waiting to hire another legislative affairs folks until we know the committee assignments. But we've got a legislative director, I have a comms director, I've got my chief of staff just walked in back here, got an operations guy. We stole a legislative affair guy from the district. So we're functioning in DC right now. I introduced my first 3 bills into Congress, which was kind of a surreal experience. Already we did that Thursday, Brett. So we're gonna hire the rest of the folks. So how that works is I have to get people that understand how Washington DC works. Which
Good luck with
is
that.
holy beanbags. Let me tell you what, man, I'm still trying to figure out where all the bathrooms are. I'll just be honest with you, because that place is a labyrinth. But then I'm gonna hire some people that are very, very in tune with the agriculture department. So we can best service the farmers the best, people that are really in tune with infrastructure, so we can service the district the best that way. And then the Veterans Administration, I've got a pretty good handle on that. And then those are the people that I say, hey, I've talked to everybody in the district. Here's what they think a legislative solution is potentially for Adams County or for an individual part of Adams County. And then I have these people write legislation for that. It has to go through all these hoops to make sure it's legal and all that. And then we introduce that into Congress.
So where did they plant you?
I'm in Longworth, 1513. So it's Longworth Building 1513. And I'm gonna extend an invitation to you, and I want you to take me up on it. So Colby will make sure, or Scott will make sure that you have my scheduler, his name is Caleb. His information, as soon as you know you're gonna go to Washington DC, get a hold of him. And then you're not gonna have to go through some big line and have some person with a red jacket walk you around. I'll assign a staff person. If anybody comes to the district and I am in Washington DC, I will meet you personally. If I'm in a committee meeting, maybe for 30 seconds. If I'm not in a committee meeting, it'll be for as long as I can. But that's your house. So that's your house. And those people working on my staff are there to help you. That's their whole purpose in life. So as soon as you know, get a hold of us and we'll show you the real, we'll give you the real tour. It's really fascinating, all those things there. If you follow me on social media, I take pictures of all the little things around the Capitol that you wouldn't get to see normally. But again, that's your house. That is an open invitation. And Scott, make sure everybody has Caleb's information. please.
Can you talk a little bit about what the district offices will look like and where we'll be at? They were asking.
Okay, so we're starting off in La Crosse and Eau Claire. Those are the legacy offices, and those are the largest population centers in the district. And then we're gonna see, we have, when you guys write a letter, you make a phone call, or you send an email, it goes into this big matrix. And we're gonna look and see where those are geographically located, because if we have to open another office, we will. I just don't want to open an office in Stevens Point and then realize we don't need it there. Because that's just a waste of taxpayers' money. So we'll look and see what the best solution is. So Scott is from that part of the district. And they were never served before. They never had anybody over there helping them, which I think is just, it's a travesty. So we'll have caseworkers there. So if you're a veteran or if you're having problems with the Social Security Administration, if you're having problems with whatever it is at the federal level, we'll have people assigned to you. So you'll have a case, you got to sign some paperwork so we can share information. And then we'll assign you a case number. Again, that's the second thing that I want to do, make sure that we provide the best services possible. Because the federal government, let's be honest, can screw up anything it touches, right? It's a fact. I worked in the federal government, in the military for a long time. So the federal government can screw up about anything. But there's also some really good things that we can do. So I spent my first day in office when we got sworn in. I got an email from somebody who wrote a letter that his brother was a veteran. He was a retired major who committed suicide. 2 days after he committed suicide, they got the letter approving his mental health care at the VA. So they applied for stuff. It didn't come in. He got to a crisis point. He committed suicide. 48 hours later, they get a letter from the VA. So I spent my first day in office calling that guy's dad, his brother and his widow, and apologizing for the federal government. That letter is printed and it's sitting on my desk right now with a handwritten sticky that says, "This is why I'm here." So those are things we can prevent. Those are things we can work at, and that's what I'm going to do. So as soon as you find out something, if you're having an issue that you think, and if you're uncertain, we'll tell you, hey, look, that's a straight up state issue. I can't do anything about it. We'll be very honest with you. But if we can do it from a federal level, we will. And I'm not a wallflower. You ask some of these people around me, I will go to the Veterans Administration. I have a meeting with the deputy secretary next week. And I said, send him that letter, because this is what we're talking about. This is what we're discussing. The fact this guy committed suicide because you guys couldn't schedule a flipping meeting. So I will advocate for you. And that means something different coming from a SEAL with 5 combat deployments than it does from someone who worked in office their whole life. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What is your take on the debt ceiling fiasco going on?
It's a fiasco. You know what? Honest to goodness, Brian Stile is over by Kenosha. He's on the financial services. And then we've got guys on budget and all that stuff. They're really gonna have to do an in-depth analysis on that, because if we default on if the United States of America, it's a conundrum, it's a solution or it's a problem without an equitable solution. If we default on our loans, on our debt, then the entire world economic system will collapse. That will be a worldwide depression. But if we're $31 trillion in debt right now, if we keep kicking the can down the road, like one of the first bills I introduced into Congress was a balanced budget amendment. Because this is stupid. My wife and I, Sarah Jane, raised our 4 kids on an enlisted person's salary. So I can pull it off. So that's the problem. If we default, that is worldwide depression. And the only way you get out of a depression like that is a world war. That's historically accurate. I don't want to go to war again. I don't want my kids to go to war. I don't want your kids to go to war. So I'm not sure what the right answer is.
Don't you have to actually deal with the budget next time around, because the money's already technically committed by Congress?
Right, so you guys understand how that works, right? So you have an appropriations bill. I'm gonna spend $10 on this. You don't spend any money until it's actually allocated. You know what I mean? So they say we're gonna spend all this money, but until it's actually sent there, it's not spent. But let's be honest, none of that money is real. Everybody understands that, right? We're not even at monopoly money anymore. We're just making stuff up. So the Biden administration has spent $4 trillion. It's actually around 6. But if you took 4 trillion and converted it to miles, that's enough to make 10 million round trips to the moon and back. And we are so incredibly far in debt, like the numbers, they're just pretend at this point. So it's got to get dealt with, but I don't know the right solution to that problem.
If you if the government, if they can't agree on anything, the government does not shut down just because you don't raise the debt ceiling. In other words, my understanding is you can put money into the services that need to be taken care of. Armed forces, social security, all these different things can be done. I can't remember the word for it, but the government does not shut down. That's fake news.
Right. If you funded the government for like 70%, like, let's just fund the government for 70%, and then come to the table and then do 30%. I mean, there's all these ways. The bottom line is we don't have a revenue problem. They brought in more taxes the last quarter than we ever have in the history of the government. We also spend more money. So don't let anybody tell you we have a revenue problem, that we need to bring in more tax money. We need to stop spending money we don't have. That's it. Look, I was a sailor. So when I say the government spends money like a drunken sailor, I know what I'm talking about. And they put drunken sailors to shame. Sailors go back to the ship when they run out of money. You know what I mean? The government goes back into your wallet. So that's a cultural change. I'll have no part of that. I'm just not doing that. And I'm one out of 435 members of Congress. So I try to bring a little bit, I mean, I rode my Harley Davidson up to the Capitol steps my first day of office to say there's someone different here. And I'm wearing this monkey suit, so I'm at this meeting. So I have my black leather jacket on with my boots. There's someone different in DC. Can I change everybody tomorrow? No. Can I make people ashamed for the foolishness they've been doing? Yeah, because I'm not a wallflower. That's all I can do, man. I will try to convince people with the power of discourse. And just flat out call them out. It's weird. Congress is like 435 independent contractors. You guys realize that, right? Like no one can tell you what to do. The only people that can tell me what to do in Congress are you guys. Kevin McCarthy could walk into my office and go do this, and I could say, nope. Is that amazing? I'm like, are you sure? I asked that like 10 times, like, can you fire me? And they're like, no. And I go, you should not have told me. The worst thing you could have done for you, not for me. Okay, well, I don't want to take it much more. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Adams, Derrick.
Thank you.
Thank you for your continued service to our country.
You're welcome.
I have a question regarding Big Ag.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a misbalance in Adams County regarding Big Ag and the everyday farmer.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering what.
95% of Wisconsin farms are family owned. Do you know that? Some of them may have 7,000 in their herd though. That's still a family farm. Let's remember that. So you gotta have, I look at food security like national security. You need to have strategic, operational, and tactical level farming. You need to have the 7,000 herd, or you're not, milk's gonna be $50 a gallon. That's, cheese is gonna be $85 a pound, and that means I'll be spending $85 per pound of cheese because I love it. But then you have to have these operational and tactical ones in case this one fails, these other two have to pick up the slack. And if the operational level farm fails, these other two have to pick up the slack to that. And that's one of the reasons I think GT put me on the agriculture committee, because I told him I want to become the cheese king of Congress. There's no dairy, I'm serious, he's like, what? There's no dairy expert in Congress right now. You know that? No one knows dairy. So we have to have a mix of all these things. People say corporate farms, they keep our food at a level where we can afford it. But these other farms, it's our heritage. You know what I mean? It's our culture. And we have to maintain all of those. So I don't begrudge those folks anything because they're actually helping feed us. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm taking up a bunch of your time. But thanks, I'm Derrick. You guys are like fancy table. Thanks for having me. Yes, ma'am. Hey, so if you guys have anything at all, Scott, don't leave till everybody's got your number and Caleb's number. So I'm serious about if you guys have kids, or if your kids are in school and they want to do a civics project, get a hold of Scott. If I can, I'll come talk to them directly. If they're doing a field trip to Washington, DC, we'll treat them right. We'll show them their house. I just more people have to be involved in our government. That's what I got so sideways. You just kind of let someone else in DC do it. But so thank you very much for your time. God bless you guys and your families. Keep it up. Thank you. All right, we're going out to Steve's Point, right? Okay, take care.
Very well.
Safe travels.
We have 5 minutes till 6 o'clock, so. This meeting is ended, so we'll call the other meeting to our 6 o'clock. So.